Hello everybody, it's Jamie from Old Shipping Lines, and this is my 100 subscriber special. A quick thank you to all of you who've subscribed and actually watched my content that I post. I really do appreciate it. I love every single bit of it. This video then will be a little bit about my story, how I got into ocean liners, ships in general. So yeah, let's begin actually. So it all started when I was 10, 11 years old, and I live in the Netherlands. For those for those who don't know, I'm Italian, but I live in the Netherlands with my parents and little sister. And it was a Sunday, and we had nothing to do, and we were like, what are we actually going to do with a day? So initially we thought, you know what, we're going to the city and we're gonna hang out. And on the way, when we were driving there, we saw a billboard with in a bus station, which actually said Titanic Expedition or exhibition. Sorry. And my father was like, you know what? We're gonna go there. It was in Amsterdam, and we live in half an hour away from Amsterdam, so it wasn't even long of a drive. So we were like, yeah, you know what? Why not? We are going there. Let's have some fun. And when we actually got there, it was a big exhibit. There were, of course, artifacts from the wreck, storylines. We actually had tickets, which were of passengers who survived or deceased in the disaster. And we were like, you know what? We got those tickets, and we had headphones, and you had those kind of screens with buttons that if you push the button, it will like how do you call it? It will like tell a piece of a story. So that was quite fun, and that was all the expedition. So you would actually know the story of the Titanic, and then with exhibitions with those buttons, with stories of the passengers, those things. At the end of the expedition, we came to a big board where you had all the names of the deceased and the ones who survived of the disaster, and then you would know, oh yeah, did my passenger survive or did he die? Luckily, mine survived. I don't know the name, I'm quite afraid, but it was a third class passenger, so it was a male passenger who survived the sinking, so lucky me. When we got there, of course, you had the souvenir shop, and I wanted to have like a kind of thing of me, like, you know what, I want to have a memory, because I enjoyed the expedition so much, and I was like, I want to have a souvenir. I want to have something to remind me of this experience. And that's when I got this. Well, yeah, you won't get to read it, but it's actually Dutch magazine of the Titanic, maiden voyage Southampton to New York, the Titanic, the artifact expedition, it says here on the bottom. And it's actually a magazine talking about the main things of the Titanic, so the passengers who were on board, like Jacob Astor, Guggenheim. Sinking is not actually in this magazine. It's like, oh yeah, the ship sank, these people survived, these people didn't, so it's not that big of an there isn't much attention in the book. But for a little boy like 9 years old at that time when we went there, it was like and whole new, it was like gold to have this in my possession. And I was like, you know what, I want to know more of the history of the Titanic. So I went to Google and I looked for books to read. And that's when I actually found this one. This is a bigger book. This is actually a book from Edward P. de Groot. And it's like, how clear do you want the title to be? Titanic. And it's also in Dutch. And this book actually, yeah, it talks more about the detail of the Titanic, so the building, how it went, the passengers, the maiden voyage, the collision with the New York when the Titanic left. The sinking has a lot of more detail, of course, in this book. Talking about the iceberg, some of the survivor stories, that there were stories of Smith who was in the water with a baby, those kind of things. So it was more detailed. It actually also had a kind of interesting or special back end to it, you know, with one of the earlier paintings of people of the wreck, of what they thought the wreck looked like, and the people who died on board. And then it was like, you know what, I'm gonna look for more ships. And that was, at the time, I was already looking on Instagram pages of ocean liners on my phone. And that's when I got to know Alex. And for you who don't, he runs the Instagram page Ships of Ireland and ships, Dutch ships, I believe. And we were all in a WhatsApp group, and we were actually sharing pics of ships, and that's when I got to know other ships like Aquitania, Lusitania. And as you can see, since then I have a whole book closet. Like it's a big closet, and there can still be put books in there. So it's a huge collection, but that will be another video to show my books collection. So that's how I got to know, let's say, Lusitania, Aquitania, Queen Mary, and all those kind of liners. And of course, as a fan, I keep watching the pages of Instagram of ocean liners, and then I saw the Instagram page of Olympic class liners, and then I was like, oh, I'm gonna follow him as well. And he had also a WhatsApp group, so I entered that one. And I was like, in the meantime, when I was looking at all those pictures, I was like, you know what, I want to start one of my own. So I then started the Instagram page, Old Shipping Lines, where I started to post pictures, and that's how we got here. But I wouldn't have been I wouldn't have made that Instagram page if it wasn't for the inspiration of Alex and the Olympic class liners Instagram, who gave me the idea of, hey, I want to start one of my own. And then at the end we went to the Titanic Museum, and I have some pictures of that experience, so I will share with you. So my face will be away, but I will talk and show you those pictures there. So see you in a bit. So once my father actually surprised me, and because he know how much I loved ocean liners and especially Titanic. And my father once then said, you know what, we're gonna go to Belfast, we're gonna go to the Titanic Museum, get your things, the next vacation we will go, the two of us. And I was like, yes, let's go. So when we went first to Dublin for a few days, or for a few days, 2 days. And after Dublin, we went to Belfast at the end, of course, for the Titanic Museum. Also for 2 days or 3 days. And at the time I was like 13, 14. So my father was like, you know what, we're gonna first explore the city of Belfast a little bit. In my opinion, it's not the most, the city I like the most itself, the city. But it was okay, it was nice, and we had a gay old time there. At the end then, the day came that we went to the Titanic Museum. And it was horrendous weather. I mean, it was raining, pouring, and we were like, God. So we went, our hotel was actually like right next to the museum. So when we would go outside, we would be safe. We would walk a few minutes, and then we would go 2 minutes walking time, and then we would be in the museum itself. So at the end we didn't get that wet. And one amazing thing on the way, of course, there was the Nomadic, and I found her amazing. I mean, such a small vessel, but I mean, it left an impact in my heart, so I really enjoyed it. Afterwards, then we went to the Titanic Museum itself, and when we entered, it was like on the left side of the wall there were all those names of all the White Star Line vessels who were there, or who were actually once or were owned by the White Star Line, so that was amazing. And then we've of course went through all the exhibits. So I will stop talking, play some music for you, and let you see the pictures, and then we will see each other at the end. after that I went at the Titanic Museum a few months or a few years later. I was still into ships. I was still looking on the Instagram of my friends who had their own ocean liner pages. I was posting on my page, and then I saw Alex, so the owner of the Instagram page Ships of Ireland, that he had made a YouTube podcast. And I always had the idea of like, oh yeah, I want to start my own YouTube channel. And I thought, you know what, I want to be part of his podcast, or join at least one of the episodes of his podcast. His podcast was named The Ship Pod, and we made together the HMS Britannic story, which I had amazing fun working with him on that. We went to Rotterdam, we went to the ocean liner, the SS Rotterdam, and a ship store with all kinds of cool books and postcards. After that, I came in contact, or I saw the YouTube page of Yamuna Skybeds, and I started to checking a little bit. And once I typed to him or sent him DM on Discord like, hey, I saw your history videos. Would you be interested if I make some for you or do some voices of some videos for you? And he was like, you know what? Yeah, that's fine. Let's do that. So I was the voice behind his video of the SS Capricorna and his video of the RMS Teutonic story. I had been saving at that time for my own laptop to start my own YouTube account, and when it did, when I finally got my laptop to make my videos, I started making content. And if I look back at that little kid in those pictures, I would have never thought that I would be standing here or making content for you guys. I always have some kind of thing in my head that because I'm not, I have no perfect English, that people don't like my content, or that sometimes I get some things wrong, and that I also think, oh yeah, now they won't watch me anymore. But when I'm so happy that I have at least a small amount of 100 subs. So I want to thank also a friend of mine who's been always loyal to me in every way, and that's his name is Pranay. He is an amazing person. He helped me with many advice things of how to make my YouTube videos. So Pranay, also big thanks to you. Also thank you of course to I always call them my mentors, Alex, Yumune, and the Olympic class liners, and many of my friends in the community, that I couldn't have done this without you, and I will be forever grateful to you, and I will consider you always, guys, as my friends. And again, also thank you guys for viewing this video again. Also, this couldn't have been done without the views of you and you watching. So I hope I will keep growing, and I hope you will enjoy the content that I bring in the future. So with that out of the way, guys, have a good night or day wherever you are, and we will see each other again on the next episode of the Old Shipping Lines. Bye bye.